We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 331. I am your Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. I am Scholar Jeff. Also joining us this week, the undisputed scholar himself, although he is highly disputed by many people, at least by me, the one and only Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how are you doing this evening, sir?
You don't get to do that anymore. When you've actually acknowledged that I am the undisputed scholar, you can't go by it's like, oh, I'm disputing it, when you've already disputed your dispute. So
Even if the title is one you have given yourself?
it's not it's given to myself because I actually have gained the achievements to get said title of undisputed scholar. When you get to get all the achievements, you could declare yourself undisputed scholar, the undisputed scholar Jeff, the undisputed scholar Brian, the undisputed scholar Charlie, the undisputed scholar Tarek. But yeah, I'm already there. It is glorious, and I am more than open to share that when you guys are able to achieve that. And in my personal opinion, you've already gotten the hardest achievement, which is the Royal Rumble game. You still just need to get the Scholar in the Bank and the Party Championship. I think that's it, actually. And Scholar of the Year.
As a matter of fact, yes, you're right.
You get those three achievements, you will be a new undisputed scholar. You will be added to this undisputed scholar family.
Well, I can tell you what's never going to happen: Scholar of the Year, because of one person, Lacey Evans. That's it.
Hey, she's going to be out for 9 months. Anything can happen. Isn't that right, Scholar Brian?
It is true. And here's the deal, okay? He's also undisputed scholar because the person who's right beneath him in everything, okay, has acknowledged that he is indeed the undisputed scholar. So stop questioning it, Jeff. It's done. That's it.
Now I am part of a generation that is taught to question everything and assume guilt.
There is no question here.
It's not a question when you've already acknowledged that I am the undisputed scholar. At that point, all questioning is now out the door.
I have acknowledged that there are those who hold that title. I am merely suggesting that there are others out there who may suggest otherwise.
And they are wrong.
Yeah, they are very wrong.
They are wrong.
Well, wrong or right.
Hey, you're closer to getting that title than Charlie is.
Hey, we all must forge our own path in this life. And as we do, there is a rare occurrence this evening and this weekend. We are talking about an AEW pay-per-view. That's right. AEW Revolution is on the horizon, which means only one thing for us here at the Scholars of Wrestling Show. That means a prediction show, but not just any prediction show. No. Since I have no obligation to defend my title at this show, if you haven't checked out our last episode, this means that this is going to be a number one contendership battle for the number one contendership for the belt at Fastlane. So that means
with Charlie not being here, does that take him out of the number one contendership?
Only if he does not put in his predictions by Sunday.
Hey, man, he has to show up on the show. I mean, he has a very good reason not to show up, but not to be on this one is a very good reason, which we will not disclose. But
on assignment.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's go with that. And
everyone's on assignment at one point or another.
You know what? Tarek, it's not like he's gonna win anyway.
I don't know. He may do what he normally does and just repeat all of your predictions. That's just what he's been doing all year.
Exactly. So what's the problem?
I love you, Charlie. I love you.
Don't think that I don't understand what you did here, Scholar Jeff, because this is in the Scholar Brian tool bag of tricks here. You took the pay-per-view that is the most unpredictable, and you decided you're not going to defend the title. You're going to make us do all the work so that we could get a title shot at the most predictable pay-per-view of the year.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hey, I like number one contender
Come on.
stipulations. I mean, I've done it, and granted,
No, it's
that's
like as I said,
that's what got
I
Charlie into
understand-
this in the first place.
I understand completely. Don't think that I don't, but don't think that I don't see what you did here.
Oh, please. Scholar Brian, that would imply that I've given this any thought at all. Does that sound
Mhm.
like the scholar Jeff that you know?
That definitely
Are I
does.
not a naive cube?
That is definitely like not championship thought. That's not the thinking of a champion.
Uh, what do you take me for? Some sort of impulsive boob who just makes predictions willy-nilly with no thought at all? Come on.
Even when you're not even when Lacey Evans will not be in a match, you will still predict Lacey Evans.
Hey, you cannot prove that. I am completely absolved here since
It's
we're
already
talking
been
about
done.
AEW.
You predicted
already
Lacey
been
Evans
done.
when she announced she's pregnant last pay-per-view. That is a default. I will automatically win.
Because I know how easily we can be worked in the world of wrestling.
Excuses,
way we
man.
love
You
it.
she was taken out of the match, and you still predicted her.
Hey, and I still walk away with this. So, QED.
But you were wrong with that prediction, though.
Hey,
It's
if
still a point loss, man. Building up for Scholar of the Year.
Hey, if a point doesn't actually occur, if a point is not counted towards a title, does it even occur? Really?
Yeah.
See, there we go. There we go. But be that as it may, we still have a boatload of predictions to put in for this weekend's AEW Revolution show. So let's just dive right into it, starting with the recently announced pre-show match. We've got a women's tag match. We've got Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Rebel. I guess since I'm the champion, I'll go first on this one.
Duh, champions of banners. You say that every prediction show. So yeah, you're the champion.
I'm reintroducing it for the newcomers who may have heard. But since we went there, I'm just going to go out and say it. I'm going to go with Riho and Thunder Rosa. I thought they put on some really great matches during this women's tournament, and I think they're going to keep the momentum going. I'm picking Riho and Thunder Rosa to win. Fool, it's your pick. Who do you got for the pre-show?
I'm also going to go with Riho and Thunder Rosa for everything you just said. Yeah, I actually have nothing to add to that. You're spot on. Bring on the Thunder.
Hey, I'll take it.
And Riho.
Now, Scholar Brian, who do you got? Riho and Thunder Rosa or Britt Baker and Rebel?
It's going to be across the board at this point because I think that you have the backstory of Britt Baker beating Thunder Rosa clean on Dynamite, and then you have the person and then you have her teammate who can take the fall so that Britt Baker doesn't get hurt in the loss. So there you go. Thunder Rosa and Riho beat Britt Baker and Rebel. Rebel takes the pin.
All right, and there we have it. Now moving on to the card at large. Now we've got the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. And I had to have an extra list up here with all the teams and all the participants because it's going to be a doozy. All right, the participants in the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal are the team of Bear Country, Dark Order team Alex Reynolds and John Silver, Dark Order team Evil Luno and Stu Grayson, the Inner Circle team of Santana Ortiz. We got the Butcher and the Blade. We've got Private Party. We've got Top Flight. We've got the Death Triangle team of Pac and Ray Phoenix. We've got the Varsity Blondes. We've got the Seidel brothers, which did anyone else even know that Matt Seidel even had a brother at this point? But anyway, I'm digressing. We got them. We got SCU. We've got the Natural Nightmares, the team of Dusty Rhodes and QT Marshall. Chaos Project, the Gun Club, another Dark Order team consisting of Alan Angels and Preston Vance, and the out of nowhere team of the Pretty Picture consisting of Peter Avalon and Cesar Bonini. Anyway, Scholar Tarek, it's your pick. Out of this mass of humanity, who wins the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal?
It really, for me, I know for a fact that even though the Dark Order has 3 teams in this thing, they're not winning. As I love the Dark Order, and I love what they're doing now with this group, but yeah, not I
Not
don't
yet.
see any of these teams winning.
Yeah, not yet.
But yeah, this is of course the one match that is just very difficult for me. It's really just down to 2 teams and it's between Private Party and Death Triangle. I think I'm gonna go with Death Triangle with Pac and Ray Phoenix.
Any other reasoning outside of that, or just like what?
I
what do you
love
think?
because I love Pac and Ray Phoenix. I guess this one's more of a heart choice, but yeah, I really love especially Pac. I love Pac. But if a part of me also, my number 2 choice would have been a Private Party. But
Okay.
but yeah, I guess I'm going with my heart on this one, Pac and Phoenix.
All right, Scholar Brian, who do you got? Are you following your heart or your brain or both? Who do you got?
Honestly, this came down to 3 teams for me. It came down to Santana and Ortiz, just because of the storyline going on around the tag teams. The tag team title right now, it came down to them. Also, the dark horse was Private Party. And I gotta admit, with the amount of, they were the last team to come in during that big old brawl that they had at the end of the show on Dynamite. And also because of the fact it really came down to Santana and Ortiz and the Death Triangle for me. And it also comes down to the fact that the number 1 contenders matches that they normally have at the pay-per-view are normally the halfway point in between the big story pay-per-view. So I'm like, Santana and Ortiz will get the next pay-per-view title shot. So yeah, I thought that this was going to be more divisive, but I gotta say, I'm going with Death Triangle too.
Ooh.
That's it.
Okay, I did not expect this coming.
No, you're going with them too, aren't you?
No, I'm not going with Death Triangle. I'm going in a completely different direction.
He's going Dark Order.
I'm not going Dark Order. I was tempted to go Dark Order, but I was honestly, Tarek, or Brian, I was expecting one of you to go Dark Order. But no, I'm going in a completely different direction. I'm thinking I'm going to go with a team who came out of nowhere, is racking up wins left and right on AEW Dark. I'm going to go with my gut on this one. I've got a really weird feeling that Bear Country is going to come out of nowhere and pull an upset. I've got no other logical reason other than I feel like they're quietly building them up and they're just going to come out of nowhere and just be a presence. So I'm picking Bear Country.
If the title was on the line, he wouldn't have said that. No,
but the title is not on the line. So
would you have guessed them if the title was on the line? I'm curious.
Honestly, this still seems like one of those crapshoot anything can happen kind of matches. So I think I was honestly torn in between this team and Reynolds and one of the Dark Order teams. So in all seriousness, I think they've got a decent shot. This is not me memeing. I'm being real.
I will say, like, I like Brian's thinking of, I didn't even think about Santana and Ortiz. Just the idea of if Jericho and MJF win the tag team championship, it would just be Inner Circle Civil War continuing. So that would have been a fun little story, but they wouldn't go that far.
And even if MJF and Jericho don't win, you had the story of it was Santana's idea to beat up young Papa Buck. So
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
bam,
true.
there's your story right there. But then it's like, okay, there's your story for the next. There's your story for Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this is for the number one contenders match that they're gonna have, for the title match that they're gonna have in between that. So it's like, yeah, let's have some fun. That's triangle.
Okay, then. Moving on to our next match, we've got another tag team match. We've got Miro and Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, the best friends. Brian, it's your pick first. Who do you got?
I'm gonna say Cassidy and Taylor because I want this shit to be over with, and I want Miro to be on his own. And for me, this just seems like the best way to do that. Have Sabian take the pin, and just like this, Sabian and Miro are going nowhere. You need to get Miro away from Sabian. And Taylor just got done being Miro's butler, so seems like a good end to the feud to have Taylor get one up on that squad.
All
And
right,
then
seems legit.
maybe Trent comes back. We have best friends reunion or whatever, and that's how they get the win. But I want Miro to be on his own. I want Miro to be a badass, and yeah.
There you go. Not much more can be said. And honestly, I'm going to second that one. I'm going to call the best friends to win. And yeah, I think this one is going to be one of the more straightforward ones of the night, at least in my view. Scholar Tarek, do we have an accord? Or are you going against the grain here?
I'm going against the grain here. I'm going to choose Miro and Kip Sabian. Sabian. I don't know why I put a P in that. But yeah, it's being I guess this is just me thinking married man logic. Just if someone comes in and ruins my wedding, I would want those people to lose, even if it is Orange Cassidy, the sunlight to my doodles. So
What?
I do. Wait, what?
The sunlight to your doodles?
Why do I have to keep explaining this to you, fool? Remember the cartoon doodle I drew of Orange Cassidy as the sun?
Oh.
Why do I have to keep reminding you of that?
Because I've got a memory of a flea. We survived 2020. I have no functioning long-term memory anymore. Ugh. Get off my back, man. I need to get like a card or something for that.
Tarek, we should be ashamed. This is our champion.
Hey, thinking in such a manner has gotten me gold and will get me gold in the future. But in the meantime, we got some predictions.
No, so. And just to conclude with what I was saying, yeah, I hope that this is going to be a strong showing for Miro, because back to the whole wedding analysis being a best man, right, fool? I know what it's like to just wishing the best for the best man, and I feel like they don't have to really break him and Sabian up to have a strong showing.
Yeah, I remember when you were at my wedding and then you tackled all the presents that were beside the hall, and we're like, Tarek, what on earth are you doing?
Hey, it's better than me with my best man speech, me being nervous as hell because I was thinking of what to say off the top of my head with no preparations. You see my hand shake. I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
Hey, no one cared and no one got punched in the face by Orange Cassidy. So I'd say it was a good time all around. But outside of all that, the prediction line continues. No more wedding predictions, just another tag team match. Again, we've got for the AEW tag titles, we've got the Young Bucks versus Chris Jericho and MJF. And honestly, for this one, I'm thinking Jericho and MJF are going to take this one. I think the Young Bucks have held the belts for long enough, and I think it's going to yield some good long-term results for Jericho and MJF in particular. So I'm going to go with them. Tarek, it's your pick. Who do you got?
Wow. I was not expecting that, to be perfectly honest. I thought of all the matches of this one is actually very straightforward. I'm revenge for Papa Buck. The Young Bucks are winning. There's just much more championship scenarios I see more for the Young Bucks than I do Jericho and MJF. So I'm picking the Bucks.
And Brian, who are you siding with on this one?
I think that this actually goes further into the inner circle implosion. I think that the Young Bucks win here so that they can get revenge for Papa Buck. And I think that in the process, if it doesn't happen at Revolution, it will happen soon after, where MJF takes over the inner circle and Chris Jericho starts getting phased out.
With how you did your little introduction for your prediction, I honestly thought you were actually going to go with Jericho and MJ. But here's a scholar's quick talk for you, gentlemen. Do we see Sammy Guevara?
No.
I'm going to say they're probably saving him for more of the breaking point for when the inner circle does implode. I'm just not convinced because I don't think the implosion is going to happen this night. Because for that reason, I don't think that Sammy Guevara is going to show up.
Oh yeah, I don't either. I've just been seeing for other predictions shows that I've been watching, a lot of people are thinking Sammy might be involved, and I'm just like, as interesting as that would be, I just don't see it. I want to see if you guys felt the same way.
I think that when MJF inevitably gets the inner circle on his side and phases Jericho out, we'll then have the return of the Sex Gods to take on the inner circle. But before that, Sammy Guevara is going to stay on his little hiatus sojourn.
All right. That is going to move us on to our next match. We've got what may possibly be a cinematic match. We've got Team Taz consisting of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks versus Sting and Darby Allin. Tarek, I believe it's your turn. Who do you got for this one?
I'm honestly just gonna go with Darby Allin and Sting. I honestly want this storyline to be over. I'm as awesome as it was seeing Sting show up on AEW. This storyline has just been boring to me. I mean, they actually are picking it. They picked it up the last couple of weeks with, them actually doing something. Sting taking a bump or taking a big power bomb. It's more than was just a bump, and him actually, wrestling. I don't know if it's gonna be a cinematic match.
It's confirmed.
It is confirmed.
Tony Khan confirmed it. Yep.
Oh, well, fuck me, right? All right. All right. Well, that's it. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I want this storyline to be over. I'm tired of Team Taz versus Sting and his son Darby. I want this over. Just end this story. Set up for their inevitable TNT title match.
All right, Scholar Brian, what do you think? Who you got?
I mean,
Taz or Darby and Sting?
It's got to be Sting and Darby at this point, right? It's the Darby Allin getting dragged to God knows where by the truck. Yeah, you had to come back after that, but you still met Sting getting powerbomb, taking his first bump, and AEW saying they're going to treat the legends better than anywhere else. Remember what WWE did to Sting when he was there. So It's
I mean,
like
his first match was basically a WWE versus WCW match because Vince just can't let that shit go.
yeah, so it's like this was quite honestly the easiest one for me to pick. Like as soon as they said the match was happening, I'm like, oh, Sting and Darby are gonna win. It's like because let's face it, okay, Brian Cage got over the moment that he powerbombed Sting. Okay, that's your shining moment in the sun. You don't need to beat him. You were the first move he took since everyone thought his career was over was Brian Cage powerbombing him. So Brian Cage is set. Okay, you don't need any more of that. Ricky Starks is inevitably going to get. I think he's going to be the one to actually take the TNT title from Darby Allin. So, but this is going to be pure nostalgia. This is going to be, and since it's a cinematic match, you can edit out all the times when Sting looks weird in the fight.
It's actually
So-
kind of relieving that they're making this a cinematic match. I'm scared we're gonna see him collapse again.
Yeah.
Oh,
As long as you don't have anybody trying to power bong.
Power bomb.
I'm trying to say power bomb, but all that comes out is power bong.
It's okay.
But
We all
but
know
they-
what you mean. We all know
but-
that Sting and Darby Allin are going to win this thing.
but as long as he doesn't take that Seth Rollins move into the turnbuckle, that's what then he should be. In all accounts, he should be fine.
Yeah, my perception is that I still believe that that was just a total freak accident. Could have
Oh,
happened to
absolutely.
anybody, unfortunately. And either way, I think this is going to be a fun one. I think everyone's going to be just fine.
Who
But
did you pick?
I'm going Sting Darby Allin.
Okay.
We have an accord. But now we're moving on to the AEW Women's Championship match. I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit here and say that, yeah, I did call Ryu Mizunami to win. But then again, now she's up against Hikaru Shida for the women's title. And Brian, it's your pick. Who you got? Hikaru Shida or Ryu Mizunami?
The longest reigning champion in AEW history. The reign will continue. Hikaru Shida to retain, basically because I don't believe that they're going to have Ryu Mizunami come in full time. I don't believe that's in the cards. So this is going to be a showcase, but I still hold to it that Sheeta's going to hold that title until it's time for Britt Baker to take it from her.
Yeah, I actually went back and forth on this one because I think at one point I actually predicted that Ryo Mizunami was going to win I predicted she was going to win the tournament, but I can't remember if I said that if she was actually going to win the title or not. But the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that no, I'm thinking Hikaru Shida is probably going to retain it, but then she's going to be attacked immediately after the match by what's her name, Maki Ito, and then they'll set up a feud that will bring Maki Ito into AEW officially, strike while the iron's hot, and then they'll set off a feud between Maki Ito, Hikaru Shida, and Maki Ito's army of simps. She'll join the Dark Order and just like go nuts. It's gonna be great. But until then, Hikaru Shida wins. Tarek, what do you think?
Shida.
See what happens when he gets the title. He goes fantasy booking crazy. That's it.
He goes fantasy booking crazy all the time. It's nothing new.
It's what gets me the gold. I mean, what can I say? It works. Eh?
It'll
And in
make you
all,
lose the gold at Fastlane. That's all.
oh, stories. But in all seriousness, I'm still convinced that if they're gonna strike when the iron's hot with Maki Ito, as everyone seems to keep flipping out about her, they're gonna probably have to do something relatively soon. And it's just my guess they're gonna do something here. So who knows? But bringing us back down to earth with the next match on this card, we've got Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page in a big money match. Got some money on the line for this one. This one is going to be one of the easier ones for me. I'm going to go with Adam Page just because this whole thing just seems super old school and fun, and it sets up for the next few months of booking. So Adam Page for the win, taking money from Big Money Matt. Tarek, what do you think? Do you concur or deny?
I do concur because it's a better booking decision to have Adam Page win. And he's honestly he's my favorite wrestler in AEW. I want him to win everything.
All right, can't be
I'm
that
sorry.
logic.
I became such a big fan of him ever since he showed up on a horse.
I'm on a horse. Brian, do you concur, or do we have a denial?
He is my second favorite wrestler in AEW, and from the moment he did that Full House intro on commentary, if you remember that one where he did where they did the Full House on Twitter, that meme, that he was my second favorite, and this is the beginning of his ascension to main event and AEW World Heavyweight Champion status. Like this is the beginning of that major push toward the gold. You can't have Hangman Page lose here. Like this is big. This is I think like this would be his first major singles win on a pay-per-view in AEW, I believe. So this would be I think he's champion before the year's out. I think he's the next. I think he's the next in line. So I don't think you have Hangman Page lose a singles match for a while. So yeah, Hangman Page beats Big Money Matt.
All right. Then that would bring us to our penultimate match of the evening. We've got the Face of the Revolution ladder match. And let me see who we've got in this thing. We've got Cody Rhodes. We've got Scorpio Sky. We've got Penta El Zero Miedo. We've got Lance Archer. We've got Max Caster and a mystery person to be announced. That being said, I believe it's Tarek. I believe it's your pick. Who do you got for this one?
I hate that I'm going first on this one.
Good luck. Enjoy.
So we're predicting who's the mystery guy, right?
If you predict the mystery guy for this one, I think they said that the big mystery signing that they said is not going to be the one.
No, it's not. Yeah, they said
this is going to be something different. So if you pick the mystery person, then you have to specify who it is. Otherwise, from who you got.
For me, I think the mystery guy is no matter who it is. I don't think he's winning anyway. My mystery guy, it was a toss up between two people, and I think it's going to be Kenta as the mystery guy. But as for the winner, I'm going to go with Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, okay. Any particular reason for that, or you're just feeling it?
He's been on kind of a hot streak lately, so I just think, and he's someone who I actually want to see become the TNT champion.
Okay. All right, Brian, it's your pick. Who do you got for the Face of the Revolution ladder match?
I don't think TBA is going to win, but I think that it's going to be former Impact star Ethan Page. I think that's his name.
I think
the dude
so.
who was the dude who was in the North tag team.
We'll just go with that. Ethan.
That was I think it's Ethan Page. But yeah, I gotta concur. I mean, out of everybody that's in that match, Cody Rhodes don't need it.
Shaq's going to take him out. He's going to reappear out of nowhere. Like it looks like Cody's going to win. He's on the ladder, reaching for it. Shaq, the lights go out, and Shaq appears at the bottom and pushes him, and just pushes the ladder off, and he flies like, I don't know, through tables just to continue with their storyline.
See, I don't even think it goes that far. I just think they go full Lance Archer, everybody dies, and he just starts at the end of the match. Like there's no like moment of Lance Archer and somebody fighting from the top of the ladder to get the title. Just got to be like, no, he just murders a bunch of folks and then goes and grabs it.
I don't know. There's a part of me that says, why build up the fact that Shaquille O'Neal can disappear Undertaker style and not just have him show up at random just to take
I just
out.
Don't feel like they do that 4 days after he disappeared. I think that would be I think that would be further down the line, but the deal for me is they've been building up Lance Archer for the last 2 months. Just like he's been getting main events. He's main evented against Phoenix to actually get into the match. He main evented.
They've been booking him
Moxley
right.
He main evented with Moxley against Kenta and Omega. So if you're building up anybody for that secondary title, and you don't think that Archer's ready to be the guy to take the title from Omega, have him be TNT champion. Archer for the win.
Okay, this is gonna be one of my heart predictions. I'm just gonna go with Pentagon just because I like Pentagon. No other reason.
This is one that he's doing because the title's not on the
line. No, I seriously like Pentagon.
Oh no, I'm not saying that you don't, but I think you think a little bit harder about it if the title was on.
Clearly, you overestimate my power.
I try to think you're smart.
But yeah, are we making the mystery person an official prediction?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
I said
okay, I've got no idea what's going to happen here, so I don't know. Aaron Stevens. I don't know.
Fucking hell. If it's Aaron Stevens, I'm going to screw him. not even in a bad way. I'm just like, Jeff just threw that out of his ass. And that's it. He's got to get the point.
Hey.
That's it.
At that point, I will... Next week, I will be the one introducing you to Scholars of Wrestling as like your Paul Heyman.
Okay, I will take that bet.
If Aaron Stevens shows up.
Okay, all right.
I'll say that right now, and I'll be glad to do it.
Hey, I think we'll all be in a much better mood if that actually does end up happening.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah, I'd love it.
But until that day comes, let's see. It's next match we've got what is going to be the main event. We've got Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship in an exploding barbed wire rope match. This is going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. death match. Woo. Brian, I believe it's your turn. Who do you got? Moxley or Omega?
About 30 minutes before we started recording this, Kenny Omega put up the guidelines and rules.
That doodle?
The doodle.
Yeah, I love it.
The doodle with the guidelines on top.
I love
like,
that pick.
Well, as soon as he put that up, it's like, well, this is gonna last 30 minutes because you're getting that 30-minute explosion. Everything explodes it's rigged to a 30-minute timer where everything's got to explode at 30 minutes. And guess what? Mr. Mox is going to get caught in that explosion at 30 minutes. And that's going to be what causes him to lose. Kenny Omega to retain. Mox gets caught in the explosion. Before, I thought he was going to take time off, but now he's taking bookings in April for Bloodsport and NJPW. So it's like, I don't know about the time off factor, but he's not walking out of this show as the champion. They've already been he gave the promo where that something crazy is going to happen to him at the end. He's like, if this is my time to go, what a way to go. It's like, oh shit, he's gonna go. Something's gonna happen. And now looking at that tweet, knowing what's coming at the half-hour mark, what's gonna happen. That's it.
That doodle of Moxley on fire is not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna follow that spoiler. I'm gonna absolutely go with Kenny Omega to win. Maybe shenanigans, but I don't even care if not. I love it. Fool, do we have a consensus? Because I think we do.
Oh, absolutely we do. Kenny Omega's winning this. This is their way of writing Moxley off TV to be a daddy.
See, I'm not even certain about that. Because he's taking bookings in March and April.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he couldn't still be around quite a bit when
this is just taking him off AEW television to be a daddy.
Well, and I would agree with that more if his baby wasn't due in June.
I take all the time I leave taking care of my wife.
Well,
hell, I went through that. I did that twice, so I completely get it.
He knows the chronology. I'm thinking
spending more time with Renee Young. Yes, please.
I still love her reaction to it, to the announcement of the match. She's just like,
"Death."
Her reaction was the ending to that old cartoon internet thing that Jeff showed me years ago of the. Doctor, there's a car accident patient in the ER. Doctor, my sister has cancer. Zombie
cancer.
And now Renee's reaction is the one shot of just the guy after witnessing that.
Oh, boy.
That showed up on one of my history this past week, and I'm just like, I love every second of this. There are deep lacerations in the sternum where aliens have taken over his body.
What?
They're shooting X-ray beams out of the radioactive supercore. Use your napping gun to stop them. Pew, 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 pew. I can't believe how sweet being a doctor is. Yeah. Here, let me assist you, doctor.
I'm gonna hate you when that is going on.
The Ego Raptor
explodes, and what you just did is the only thing I could think about while Jon Moxley is exploding.
Jon Moxley is exploding. I'm going to send you the picture of send you a picture of that face. I'm going to send it right now. That's going to be my face seeing Moxley basically turn into ash. I'm going to do that.
Shout out to Aaron Hansen. Your work will live forever.
Here we go. I'm gonna show you it right now. I'm gonna show it.
Moxley's gonna turn into ash, and then we're gonna tune in the Bloodsport.
That's gonna be my face seeing Kenny Omega, seeing Jon Moxley explode.
And then I'm gonna tune in the Bloodsport on WrestleMania weekend, and Jon Moxley's going to be reincarnated from the ash, so he can face Josh Barnett unless this is another way for him to get out of that match, because it would be the third time now.
So what you're really saying is that Jon Moxley is going to rise from the ashes to school the masses?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a bold prediction, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for you. But anyway, before we close out, we have one more prediction to make, because the whole wrestling world has been talking about, oh, who's the new AEW signing? Big Show's hyping him up. Tony Khan's hyping him up. Is it even a him? Is it a she? Who knows?
Oh no, I think they confirmed it actually is a he.
Tony Khan, in an interview, said he, and it's one of his favorite wrestlers of all time.
Okay, fine. So we've decided that here at the Scholars of Wrestling show, we're going to see if we can predict who this person is, and this will count towards the tiebreaker if there is.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I guess it goes to me. I'm actually a little disappointed that it had to go to me, because I've got a little bit of an outside of the box pick for this one.
If you say El Dandy, I'm going to slap you through this computer.
It is not El Dandy.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy?
Or DVD Phil.
It is not going to be Toru Yano anyway.
Please?
However, as much as I personally would love it to see Toru Yano in the States again, he's not the Chaos member I'm thinking of. Because really, I had two picks in mind. Out there, like, again, you're talking about Hall of Fame worthy talent, and this is going to be a controversial pick, but I don't think it's going to be an ex-WWE guy. I'm thinking, given the kind of fan that Tony Khan is, there are two names that come to mind. The first name to come to mind is Okada. Okada has been talking about wanting to expand and build wrestling alliances. And now that Kota Ibushi has all the belts and has just recently unified them, that frees up Okada to do whatever the heck he wants. I still think he's going to be loyal ultimately to New Japan, but I can see him happily taking a contract to wrestle in the States, and he would be a major signing. But ultimately, I do not think that's, as much as I think it's a possibility, he's not my one pick for this. And instead, I'm going to go to someone who just recently appeared on Busted Open Radio, went out of his way to talk about unusual or unique title contenders in the near future. So again, this is going to be a crapshoot no matter how we slice it, but my pick for this new acquisition, whoever in whatever capacity work with them, I'm thinking it might be Nick Aldis.
As soon as you said the title contenders and all that, I knew who you were going for.
Is it an outside chance? Yes, it is. But given the world of professional wrestling and the state of NWA now, like, they lost a lot of their big name talent. Aaron Stevens, who even knows if he's doing anything? Thunder Rosa, she's just sort of going all over the place. The question mark died straight up. Tim Storm, who knows how much longer he can go on. Again, Serena Deeb, I believe, is out with an injury. Like, they're going to need some serious star power now that they're starting up a new show. And I think they can absolutely benefit from tapping into not just the AEW talent roster, but also the network that AEW is building for itself. Because they're bringing it, if they basically unify, it's the entire wrestling world versus WWE. That could be a really major acquisition on its own, even if Nick Aldis is not the name that a lot of people are thinking. Tony Khan absolutely seems like the kind of person who would really respect the title lineage of the NWA alone. And in my eyes, Nick Aldis has absolutely proven himself to be a credible champion. But hey, we'll see if that goes anywhere. But now I'm done talking. Tarek, I'm going to pitch it over to you. Who's your pick for the mystery acquisition for AEW?
I'm just gonna throw a name out there because I honestly haven't the slightest idea. I'm just gonna pick Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
He's one of the top name. He's one of the top names that people have been talking about, and it just kind of makes sense to me. Oh.
And that brings us to Brian. Who is your pick?
It's not Okada because he's wrestling right now with 2 slip discs. And that wouldn't be good for a full-time AEW schedule. He's not wrestling a full-time NJPW schedule. I don't think that's going to happen. Nick Aldis, NWA is back in business now. They're getting ready to put on new shows. They got rid of all their video content because they're basically starting over, if you will. So I don't think it's going to be anyone from NWA, especially not Nick Aldis, because he's going to be the main focal point of them restarting the brand. Watching the Busted Open radio interview that Tony Khan did, it's someone who can still go now. He said, it's someone who I really like a lot. It's one of my favorite wrestlers, and he's going to be doing a lot for us. So I think it's someone who can actually wrestle. So everyone's saying Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, Steve Austin, that kind of. It was never going to be Austin in the first place.
I was gonna say, who the hell
You
said
can
Austin?
throw that out right now.
That's the first I'm hearing of it.
But if you're looking at his Mount Rushmore, those are the names that come up for Tony Khan. It won't be. I don't think it'll be Angle because he can't go, and it won't be Bret Hart because he can't go. You're gonna hate this, Tarek. But I think it could actually be Christian.
I've heard the idea brought up
because he's not under WWE contract.
But is that your actual pick? Are you going to go with Christian?
It'll be my pick. It's not. You saw that he could go when he was in the Royal Rumble. Okay, you saw that he could take bumps. You saw that he could go. Okay, it's confirmed that he's not under contract for the WWE. I don't think they were going to use him for anything other than the Royal Rumble. And he's known to jump ship from WWE at times. He jumped to TNA. Then he came back. Okay, so why wouldn't he?
All right, then.
That's my whole thing.
You're right, Brian. I hate that.
when Tony Khan said he's going to do a lot for us, it's like that means he's going to have to wrestle. Okay, the only reason Sting works is because you're going to have him because you have him in the street fight. If you're just going to have him doing creepy dad shit with Darby Allin all the time, as Tarek said, it's not going to work. Because Sting being the creepy dad is kind of boring. But if you're going to have him in street fights, if he can go, then yeah. We know that Kurt Angle can't go. We know that Bret Hart can't go. We know that a bunch of people that Tony Khan have said are his favorites can't go. So as much as Tarek doesn't like Christian, he is Hall of Fame worthy.
Maybe with Edge.
So I even think without. Sorry, buddy.
Nope.
But that's it.
I do not agree.
Yeah, this is honestly one of those moments where I'm actually really glad that this is so difficult to call.
And it's gonna
I'm
end
sure
up
we're all
being
gonna
Brock
be
Lesnar.
yeah, no
It's
way.
gonna end up being Brock Lesnar.
No way it's Brock, no way it's Punk. Just no, not at all. I'm convinced that Punk is
Punk is dumb.
there.
Punk doesn't want to wrestle, and every time someone brings up him wrestling, he gets pissed off. That's it. No.
Yeah. But anyway, regardless of who it actually is going to be, I think we're going to be in for a great night of wrestling. But then again, I'm guessing that everyone watching and listening to this show right now is already aware of that fact. So you know what? Now it's time where we want to hear from you, wherever you are, all across the internet. What do you think is going to happen at Revolution? Who is this mystery person? Let us know wherever you are. YouTube comments, Facebook posts, and our personal favorites, the Twitter machines, starting with Scholars OW for all the latest episode uploads. Follow us on there. And you can also join us on our personal Twitter accounts. Join in the conversation with us, starting with you, Fool, you of many eyes. Where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
And Scholar Brian, where can they reach you?
You can reach me getting mad at Tarek at the end of the John Moxley Kenny Omega exploding barbed wire death match at Atomic Beanpole.
And of course, you can also check me out, the current reigning, defending Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion of the world, at I'm Robbie Rage. Join in the conversation. It's going to be a good one, especially this weekend. I'm sure we're going to be live tweeting like crazy because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all at Revolution.
Pew, pew, pew.